finally something I won't have to deploy. I won't have to say, hey, would you put this in your house, please? Like the concept of there's people who are going to be handling all that for me. I was like, this is kind of a no-brainer here. It's like, helium replicated, but deployers will be deploying for me. And I can be on board with that. So yeah, that's what gave me the ape signal to say, heck, let's get in on the drip campaign. Let's make sure we get at least one. And now I have 3.
Hello again, and welcome to the Chai and Wi-Fi podcast, where we speak to people from DePIN, Web3, and the ecosystem in general. Today, we are joined by Dingus, a longtime member of the community. Great to have you here. How's it going?
Great to be here. Thanks so much for having me. It's going great today. I'm so happy to be here with y'all.
Same here. So super excited to talk to you. For those of you who don't know, I think most of you already know, you would have seen Dingus in the community, engaging with a lot of you on Discord, on Twitter. He's a great member of the ambassador program, which we'll get into later. But before we get into it, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us, what's your background? How did you get into this? What has brought you into Web3 and Dabba in general?
All right. So I guess in 2017, a friend of mine flipped me 2 Ether coins, and I had no idea what they were. They were worth $200, the whole coins themselves. So it's $100 each coin. And I was like, wait, this is money? I had no idea. And so I started purchasing NFTs because I'm into art. I really like art. And I said, wait, so there's these digital assets that are collectibles, just like real world collectibles. I mean, what else to do with the Ether but play around with it? So yeah, no, I got my first Ether just kind of flipped to me, and I decided, let's see what NFTs are about, because the art world is interesting. And then in 2019, I bought my first hotspot, and that was a mistake. Honestly, I went on eBay and I didn't know what the thing was. I thought it was Wi-Fi to go. You could just, get a little helium hotspot, bring it to go with you and connect to it. And I plug it in when I get it. And I'm like, wait, there's no Wi-Fi. I can't connect to this thing. I look up all the information about it. I realize, oh, it's a LoRaWAN gateway. This is a whole, I didn't know what I was getting into. So that's kind of how I got my foot in the door with, at first with crypto, and then with NFTs, and then with DePIN altogether. So I've been in the space since 2017, and ever since then, I've just been so very interested in the concept of passive income and the concept of, the fact that NFTs are kind of a part of this whole system of DePIN. So, the hotspots are NFTs or NFNs in our case scenario. But yeah, it's all kind of interconnected. And that's kind of the beautiful thing at the end of the day here at 2025, 8 years later, we can kind of see it all coming together.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see the journey of, and I think I've seen this across multiple members of the community or just people generally in DePIN, right? They always start off with some kind of entry into Web3, and then they're attracted to the utility of things, right? And that's what kind of gravitates towards DePIN and the whole DePIN sector.
Yes.
Now, it's interesting that you brought up art and your background in art. And we are a DePIN project. And even for us as a project, we've made this kind of bridge between, art and DePIN, from NFTs with Drip House to, working with a meme project like, Bonk, or even with another NFT project like DY Cats, right? A lot of people, for the audience especially, it looks like 2 different industries, 2 separate verticals whatsoever.
Right.
How do you see the melding of these things, especially since you as an artist has made the journey from, art, an artist yourself, and then getting into DePIN?
Yeah, and then getting to the utility, which is actually what we're seeing in DY Cats. Not only are we seeing utility from NFNs and NFTs as hotspots, we're seeing a DY Cat is actually a stake that generates tokens. So, there's so many, I have probably 10,000 NFTs that are just dead in the water. And, that's what we've had to make a move away from. These kind of just artists who are putting out whatever and saying, just buy this, buy that. And at the end of the day, it's all worthless. Even some of the hottest collections, I will say some of the collections that were going from, 2-3 figure ETH, those collections have flattened out and there's only the blue chips really left. So what we're going to be left with at the end of this is just, hotspots and real NFTs that actually have a use case. I was actually talking to my brother in New York, over in Long Island. He was mentioning how he was able to get a local coffee shop. He had an NFT that gave him a discount there. I was like, cool. So I think, there's always going to be the blue chip collections when it comes to the artistry world. But through this whole process, I've realized that I don't really think when it comes to NFTs, that's where the money is. I think it's where the utility lies. That's where the money's going to be. And, you got to, I hate to say it, you got to follow the money. It's just green paper, but you got to follow the money.
Yeah, exactly. I love that take. I love this take, especially from an artist, because you're taking the approach of, okay, the art, the value of the art, now attach that to something that can increase that value, right? Which is what an artist's approach really takes. Because generally, the opinion, the kind of thought behind NFTs and Web3 art, as far as I feel, is it started with a lot of community, people being a part of a specific community, appreciation for maybe some sort of art or some sort of culture. And now the evolution of that is, now let's give that culture and that art something useful.
Yeah.
And I love how you brought up the coffee shop, scenario. And we're seeing this pop up across the world, right? Even here in Bangalore, we have something called Zoho House, and it's actually across the world. It's like a co-working space, a Web3 center, co-working space, co-living space.
Nice.
And you get one of the NFTs, and if you want to access the space and the services, you just need to show that you own this NFT, right? So it's kind of this proof of work / add value to community and culture, right? And DePIN is kind of
the real world part of it.
Yeah, to add even more to it. So great takeover there. Always, this is why I like talking to people from different backgrounds, because you bring that perspective, your
Totally.
background perspective into it.
And
Okay,
that's YouTube.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So let's kind of change it up a little bit and talk just a little bit about Dabba and the Dabba community and your intro to it. So you talk to us a little bit about kind of your experience with DePIN projects and what really got you into DePIN projects. And now, since you've been in it for a while, what are the pros and cons? Like, what are you looking out for when you're trying to look for a good project? What are the things you want to be careful about when you're looking at different projects, right? Let the community know, where their antennas should be focused on.
Sure. So when it comes to DePIN, I am deep in everything. I don't know what it is, but as soon as I got into helium hotspots, and what I did is I went down to New York City, I got a rooftop, and I put a bunch of antennas up, and I just kept on getting more hotspots as I got more HNT. I'm just going to keep doing this. It seems to be working. Throw some more antennas up. And that's where the hardware addiction started. And then I'm a gig worker too. So I do DoorDash, I do Instacart, I did Uber, Lyft, all those sorts of gig jobs. So when I did that, I was like, well, you add Hive Mapper, you add the GeoNet GeoPulse, you add the rover on top of your car. Let's put some SoarChain over here. We got the Dymo down there. So it's like, how much can we get going on at the same given time while I'm already doing something else? And that goes for, even a Dabba hotspot. If I am out doing my thing, it's still earning for me while it's working in India. I bought a Dabba hotspot through the Drip House campaign. That was my first dip into Dabba. And I think, the biggest reason I was so comfortable with that purchase is that that one I kind of just bought on a whim. I do that a lot. And I knew that because you guys are going to be an NFN on the long term, that it's transferable. So the asset isn't really something that I have fully invested in for the rest of my life. I can kind of play it out and see how things go. That's the beauty of NFTs,
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you can do so much with it, right? You can connect it to so many things. You can trade it. You can add things onto it. Like, there's just so much utility just within an NFT itself.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we talked about your journey on, DePINs and traditional DePINs. You became a deployer, from artist to deployer, to testing all these things out, to joining the Dabba network. And one thing I always like to talk to people about and kind of get insight is, what kind of gave you that initial trust to work with the Dabba network? Because we're not like traditional, DePINs. It's a managed deployment model. You're not getting the hardware. We're in another country. You're all the way in America. We're in India. Like two different countries across the globe.
Yep.
What kind of aped you in? What gave you that confidence to, be a part of the community?
Basically, I was like, this is something I won't have to manage. Finally, something I won't have to deploy. I won't have to say, hey, would you put this in your house, please? Like, and I mean, not even my own family would put helium hotspots in their house. They were just like, oh, no, I don't want that. So, just the concept of there's people who are going to be handling all that for me. I was like, this is kind of a no-brainer here. It's like, helium replicated, but deployers will be deploying for me, and I can be on board with that. So yeah, that's what gave me the ape signal to say, heck, let's get in on the drip campaign. Let's make sure we get at least one. And now I have 3. So, I'm really stoked about it because you never know what's going to pop. And honestly, I'm bullish about Dabba because all of the metrics are there. When we take into account the fact that there's so much lack of Wi-Fi in India and there's so much fill space that you guys can take over, I see it as a beautiful opportunity.
Excellent. Yes, I mean, thank you for the vote of confidence. I mean, it's real stats, right? That you can see.
Yeah.
Less than 5% of the nation has access to broadband, which is ridiculous. We just became the 4th largest economy in the world. We surpassed Japan
Seriously.
in terms of GDP. Japan is a country that has over 90%, broadband penetration. India is 4%, but we just surpassed them in terms of GDP. Right?
Wow.
So it just goes to show, and
you need it.
You need it, right?
Mm-hmm.
The World Bank put out a report saying, access to information and the internet is directly connected to a nation's GDP. Right?
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, just think about it. So if your GDP is what it is right now at the current internet capacity you're at, just think about how much India could flourish if they had more access to internet, just like that.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. And I think what a lot of people also kind of misunderstand is there are types of connectivity and all types are important. Like you have your Starlink, you have your mobile, right? You have your broadband, you have these different tiers that all need to exist, right? It's not that one competes against the other.
Sure.
You obviously do need your mobile and cellular services.
Right.
But you also need your broadband Wi-Fi connectivity to connect places, to even connect your towers, right? I mean, towers, a lot of people don't understand that your 5G towers run off of fiber backhaul in most cases.
Yep.
If you don't have fiber backhaul, you're just having towers with no connectivity.
Which isn't great.
I mean, exactly. So you're also a Dabba ambassador, and I always love to see
grateful.
the kind of content that you put out. And yeah, I mean, we're grateful to have you. I think our ambassador program has been something we're all really proud of. The kind of ambassadors that we have, because it's not a kind of get some XP and get this drop. It's
grind.
It's not a grind, right? And I think you've seen this with just the small cohort of ambassadors we have. Everyone's super passionate about it.
Yeah.
So talk to us a little bit about that. How has the experience been, working with the community, engaging with the community? Why do you like doing it so much? Because I know our ambassadors, guys like you, are not really in it for the money. You're in it for the community and the project. So what keeps you going?
Let me put it this way. You guys are the first people to ever pay me real money to do anything in this space. So I've been like a moderator in Discord since 2017, just saying like, yo, I'll do this. I'll set up the bots for you. Just give me them. I got the setup for you. No problem. And like everyone's trusted me through the years. Like I set up the Dewey Cats Discord bots for Peroni just to get him on board with that. And, it just took like years and years of building this trust. And I'm just so thankful to be with you guys because you're the first people who've actually seen value in me. And I think it was Atlas really who saw the value in me. And I think he's like, you can do this. And I'm kind of the person who maybe like sometimes is like a little timid. Like I know I have a lot of skills, but maybe I'm like a little timid to just go out there and put the pedal to the metal. But Atlas is like, yo, go ahead, make a video, submit it to Dabba, and do this thing, man. And I'm like, I was literally at a hotel when I made my first video there. And you know, what's awesome is because I've been able to see myself grow. I've been able to watch my videos get better. And actually, you know, as an artist with the ChatGPT work has been getting better. So, you know, I'm so thankful to Atlas. Shout out to Atlas. You know, he's our community manager here at Dabba. He is a great community manager. He's really helped me see my true potential, see my best self. And, you know, I'm just so thankful. He was just like, hey, why don't you sign up, bud? You know, he saw what I didn't see in myself, that sort of thing.
That's amazing. And yes, Atlas is, you know, one of the members of the team as well. A lot of you, you know, who are watching this know Atlas in the community. And yeah, I think he's really done a great job of representing our ethos as well, right?
Yeah.
You know, find people who have potential and, you know, give them the tools to flourish, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, we're super proud of the work that you've done. You've done some amazing stuff with the community. I think the ambassadors overall have just been doing such a great job. And, you know, it's definitely a program that we're extremely, extremely proud of. So thank you for being a part of that.
I guess it was really, you know, I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful that you're willing to actually help me stop doing DoorDash. And like, cause I'm with Wayroot too. And it's kind of like, I'm like, wait, I don't really need to do this DoorDash riffraff anymore. I can kind of just go full on into Web3. And it's after 8 years of kind of just doing this for free for people. It's just, I can never be more thankful that I get an opportunity like this where somebody actually sees the value in me and is willing to pay me for my work.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
I mean, it is our pleasure. More than happy to. And for those of you who are watching, the ambassador program is a selective program, but anyone can reach out and apply. We usually have applications. You would have known this. You know, even Dingus went through the you know, entire process of applying and everything. But yes, we want to make sure we have, you know, passionate members like Dingus, you know, as a part of the program. So great to have you there.
Absolutely.
So moving on. So then the next thing I want to ask you, since you have been interacting with so many people, talking about Dabba so much, how do you explain Dabba to friends and family? Like, what is the easiest way for you to explain it?
So the easiest way I usually explain it is like people know I'm like the helium head or whatever. I'm like, so, you know, as an investment opportunity, this is kind of like if you had helium, but you didn't have to do any of the maintenance. So you're just making an investment. You're making an investment. And the investment proposition is the fact that India has this situation where they're lacking Wi-Fi and they have a huge market GDP that just, if we could stimulate that in some kind of way, we as the world could help provide that stimulus that they need to be the brighter economy. At the end of the day, it's not about, you know, I'll make my ROIs where I make my ROIs, but we really want to build a network. And that's what I'm passionate about, you know, here. And so having Dabba is just like a wonderful thing because I'm just like, oh, those 3 hotspots will be managed for me. I don't have to worry about them. There'll be some inflow. We'll see how that goes and probably make my money back someday. So yeah, it's like, I'm not too worried about it, that sort of thing.
No, but yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. And that's a great point because that is very important. It is great to be altruistic. It is great to want to do good things in the world, but it also needs to be sustainable, right? Mm-hmm. That's kind of the direction and the way we look at it as well. Like if you are contributing to a project, yes, you want to do something good for the world. That's also good. But unless you're getting something back in return, you're not incentivized or motivated to keep doing good, right? And that is also really, really important.
Right. It's why we need a flywheel. It's why we need a system that continues to keep it going, you know, because otherwise we wind up in situations which is just pump and dumps. That's what tokens do generally. But if we have a system like, you know, where I think I've related it to the data credit system by Helium, where there's a burn model that constantly is propping up the token, it's a very sustainable model. So It's there's something to the burn model and I think that it will be very successful for you guys in the long term. And it's just kind of the DePIN space has been very interesting to see all of the kind of angles that people are going to choose to kind of make sure their tokens don't go flat, because we've had so many flops through the years that it's like at this stage in the game, we need to be making products that are sustainable and that can continue to be built upon.
Yes, exactly. And I'm glad you brought it sustainable, right? And because a lot of people think sustainability comes from good tokenomics, which is, yes, very important.
Sure.
Good community, yes, very important. But what everyone kind of ignores and leaves to the side is the service that people want, need, and pay for, right?
Exactly.
They forget that that's kind of the core,
the core is where's the money?
Exactly. It's still a product. It's still a service, right? Community is important. Tokenomics are very important things, not denying
right.
it. But unless you have a product that people are buying and using and need, everything else, then you're just going to have to subsidize everything consistently. Right?
So, the fact that you guys already have users, you already have hotspots deployed, users using your network, passing data through all the time, every day, that's kind of how it started with Helium with me. It's like I put a hotspot in New York City. The use case was like, whoa, cool, look at that. I guess I should get some more. And so that's kind of where you're at right now. It's just kind of keep spreading out, And
exactly. Just
keep
the engine of consumption driving, right? That's the core, and everything else will grow along with it.
Yeah.
We're coming to the end of this. This has been a great conversation. So just two more questions before we kind of wrap up. And one is, what does the future of DePIN and Dabba look like to you? Like, what do you want to see over the next year, 2 years, 5 years? What excites you about this industry and Dabba especially?
So particularly for Dabba, I would love to see, I don't even look at the dashboard because I'm just so busy like doing my thing and just working and stuff. It's like not, I know everything's going to be good at the end of the day, but like I look forward to like a mobile app maybe on my cell phone where I can like check in real quick, maybe like, check my locations, see how they're performing, maybe choose, I want to maybe relocate, stuff like that. I'd love to see just, 10,000, 20,000 hotspots. How many have you sold already?
So right now we're around 12,000 sold and 5,000 deployed.
Okay. All right. So you're getting to those numbers, honestly. And yeah, so I'd like to see, in terms of DePIN infrastructure, I guess I'd like to see like some way that there would be a LoRaWAN part implicated with everything, because I just love LoRaWAN, but you guys are using lasers. So, we'll see what happens with the lasers. I'm very excited about that because that's technology I haven't really seen before. And in terms of the DePIN space in general, I think we're just going to come to this conclusion as a universal population that, wait, that data is all ours. Why have we been giving it away for free? So let's figure this out, taking it back, and we're going to have kind of like this, mass take back of our personal data.
Exactly. I mean, let's cut out the middlemen. Let's give those savings to the end consumers so services become cheaper, and let's bring rewards to the people that are helping prop up these services, right?
Exactly.
That's a healthy ecosystem.
Yep. So exactly.
So yes. So
perfect.
Closing out. What are your closing thoughts? What are your closing thoughts for the community? What would you like to tell them? All on you.
All right. So some closing thoughts here for the community. I kind of always leave it at this. Don't ever give up. Like when it comes to this space, just keep on going. Like things may not work out. You may make investments that go bad. You may make investments that just don't turn out well, but just keep at it, because the reality is there's opportunity around every corner. And when it comes to Dabba, I think, just even getting yourself one hotspot, that's like having a little bit of skin in the game. I have 3 hotspots. That's having a little more skin in the game. Some people want to have a whole fleet of hotspots if they want to have a lot of skin in the game. But, just having a little bit of everything, like, that way you don't miss out on any sort of opportunity. So, like I say, opportunity is always around the corner. Make sure you invest in a little bit of everything. And I think Dabba is one of those things that, I think everyone should be investing in. It's a passive income resource. And that is the future of people's monetary structures, having a passive income included.
Nice. Thank you so much, Dingus. This has been an amazing conversation. For those of you in the community, you can catch him on Discord. You can catch him on Twitter. Anywhere else that you want to shout out, for people to get in touch with you or see just see Dingus out there.
Yeah, just mainly Twitter at Dingus USA. Just at symbol Dingus USA. You'll find me right up there, and yeah, you'll see all the appropriate things that you would want to see. If you want to see my art, you want to check out some things about Dabba, you'll find it all right there. And thank you so much for having me here, Don. I can't appreciate it more.
Thank you so much, sir. Always a pleasure. Love the energy, love the positivity. I am looking forward to a lot more artwork from you in the future, especially the community. And yes, I will catch you soon. You have a great day. And everyone at home, you have a great day as well. Make sure to catch Dingus, Dabba. Catch you in the next one.
Much love, fam. Peace.